So, hello guys, it's me, Gaming Star here, and today I am back with another episode of The Greatest Attorney to Resolve. Last time, we had basically started off the Twisted Caught him on his last bow with the investigation. And so we're going to go ahead and do the trial. Let's go. So again, it's going to be a long one. Again, this case is super long, so I'm going to split it into a whole bunch of episodes. So a familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of the historic courthouse. Actually, no. It's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there, I suppose? Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my, I do apologize. Papi, shut up. Papi, shut up! Get out! Papi, you're certainly not mistaken. The trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details. However, I understand that no jury has been selected. What did I say? Remember how I said last time? Remember how I said, you know, like in the how I said that this is gonna be you're gonna be happy this is gonna be the last time there's no jury. The last case there was a jury. You know, last case there was a jury. There's gonna be no jury this time, so no jury for basically the rest of the case. A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago. A close court. Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes. Have you made a hair, Mr. Huddle? An outright victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ha! Well, man's little hair problem is another of a drinking dubious potion. You have no idea how many stomach ails this morning. Oh dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking full of vim. And I see London's celebrated great detective as active as ever. Well, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my partly engagements in a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point at which I could readily commend you. What an honor. And I would be... Your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes! After all, behind his lawyer is a very great mind. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite the trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Oh, Gina! What's on your arm? Is that a morning bed, I suppose? Father! Shouldn't you be at the symposium? It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. Oh, I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. The fruits of my studies, see how that goes. Well, oh, yes, Gina. Why do you have to agree to this, eh? Why do you take him on? This Reaper bloke, everyone says it was him who killed the boss. I'm sorry, Gina, but I don't believe that. Well, if it wasn't him, who was it? I don't know that yet. I don't get who calls him what. The Reaper is just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if that turns out he was just who killed the boss, then God help him. Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. Eh? At least that may be some solace to the deceased. He is taking it hard, man. Please, oh no. Get whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. Oh, dude. I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you've got to find who done this and make the wretch pay. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way to the courtroom at once, please. Alright then, here we go. Woohoo! It's time, Mr. Nuttahuddle. Lord Van Zeeks. Let's go. Alright, boys. Here we go. One who lost his treasured brother to mass murderer. The one who lost his treasured father in the foreign country of law. Foreign court of law. And one who lost a man who helped her escape destitution. Everybody's lost something here. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine the light on all those dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look straight in the eye. Alright, here we go. No jury, so it's going to be an odd sight, isn't it? But no jury. And Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I judge. So it's going to be the last time we're going to see the judge for a long time, by the way. Keep this in mind. For the trial of the defense, Brock Von Zeeks. Counsel for the defense prosecution, you ready to begin? The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, Kazuma-sama, so odd. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long, it feels. But it never pictured happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a Scrooge like no other, and determining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind the Scrooge. In other words, Scrooge. This trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Griggs's murder. Oh yeah. The truths revealed by the proceedings may have been discussions through the judiciary. Accordingly, they're conducted as a closed trial with no members of the public present, by Her Majesty's direct orders. How will that work, my lord? The burden of all aberration adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, no jury. The juror's bench shall remain vacant today. If no members of the public are present, might I ask who's currently occupying the gallery, my lord? There are members of the judiciary here to witness proceedings and ensure the equitable trial. Members of the judiciary? Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already. There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and defense are both aliens of Great Britain. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in the courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma? Alright. Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asoki, your opening statement, if you please. Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on 1st November, just right after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building in flats on Frenzo Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known very well indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of his country's grimmest cases 10 years ago, the Prosecutor Professor case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported at the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot in the front of the point-blank range and died instantly. How has his range been determined? There are scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range. I see. Yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel. I don't know anything about guns, so I can't say much. Autopsy report. I swear, God, if you didn't update one, I'm gonna kill myself. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim. And have you managed to discern the owner of this firearm? No, my lord. Not conclusively. Bravo, Kazuma-sama, for not trying to use the gun as evidence when his improvements can't be proven. Furthermore, my lord, he's very good, holy shit. As I explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. And there's candelabra mounted on the wall, and the tip of one of the candles it is found to have been blown up by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan to the crime scene as evidence, please. As you wish, my lord. And is Franzo Street room Inspector Gregson private abode? No, my lord. The room is rented but to Mr. Hugh Bone, but there is some previous precious little furniture inside. It is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing here? Presumably he was investigating some case of murder. When a policeman was informed that the gunshot from the witnesses rushed the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and accused standing alongside holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused at the spot. Wow. So, the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call as first witness. A name, please, counsel. Naturally, the accused himself. Lord Van Zeeks! As a prosecutor, he believes the oath of office he's taken to be compelled to tell the truth. Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand. Alright, here we go. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Barack Van Zeeks, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zeeks, that you heard Prosecutor Osogi's opening précis? I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room in the Franzo Street at the time in question. And what exactly took place? I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Van Zeeks, I could never imagine this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come, but since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony then, witness? Alright. Ooh. Here we go. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to the address. Why were you investigating him? When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the shot. I spun around, and I saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. What? Oh, this is odd. That testimony was the whole truth? It was. So, you heard the shot being fired at the room with no living occupants, and moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes, is that it? You're right, you haven't explained away anything. In fact, you would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet, it turns out you have a way with words. Prosecutor Osogi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't a word. It's laughable. What's gone into Kazuma? He's not behaving like himself at all. He's very vengeful. You could tell. He's like very, vengeful, wants to get revenge. Very well then. Counsel, may you begin cross-examination? Yes, my lord. Alright, so press all the statements, because you want to know the whole truth, so press all the statements. Here we go.
Hold it.
Press all statements. That's all you gotta do. You were investigating Inspector. What for? I'm not at liberty to say. Sorry? I had identified as a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in the case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is that the court understand that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene? No, I was privy to his movements in advance. How? I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Franzo Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered a man's office. In Japan, that alone will constitute very serious offense. As it does in Great Britain, I assure you, but it's not the case, Lord Van Zeeks. I was aware of the possible consequences. So in summary, you were investigating the victim. And yet, you refused to tell the court why? I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Why did I ever think I could defend this man? Dude. Damn, Cosmo, you're... Oh my god. Dude. Had you ever been to the address before? No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no lights inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything. But at 5 p.m., the sun would have just only gone down, would have been reasonably light outside. The room was a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, that's true. So it was extremely murky inside. That is pretty true. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning at the desk, though I couldn't say for certain. Actually, there is. Look, Miss Benda, hold on. There is an oil lamp, actually, yes. There is a small desk in this room just here. Yes, and I remember there's a small oil lamp and it was a framed photograph. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started walking towards the desk to investigate. And what did you find? Nothing. I never actually reached the desk.
Hold it!
What about it? So, who fired the gun? I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room. But you say it was very dark in there. Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is, I didn't sense another's presence. Aha! Could it be that the gunshot actually originated somewhere outside the room? No, that's out of the question. Oh. Yeah, I thought we're just going in. Without a doubt, the sound emanating from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder. Oh, it went bad from worse. And you say that's the point in which you noticed the revolver on the floor? Correct. And foolishly picked it up. That was careless on my part. Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that someone hastily took in your hands. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. Where on earth was the gun that was fired? Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I, too, would dearly like to know that. God damn it, it's gonna be horrible. Dude, this is too... A man, you say. One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on Frenzo Street. Who are these merchants? A number of them had set their stalls directly beneath their boarded the window and crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They have all given statements saying they've heard a gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did, and it almost gave me a heart attack in the process. But you're supposed to be the Reaper. The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. A policeman patrolling the Frenzo Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man screamed drew my attention in that direction.
Hold it!
Last statement. What do you mean by that? That way did the body appear? I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was. Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand? At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more. I see. After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. It's so odd how the inspector was killed and how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere. I have no idea.
Objection!
What? Oh. Surely the corpses are heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Brock Van Zeeks, is implying like multiple fronts. What? What is that supposed to mean? Good gracious, counsel! The defendant is lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct. No, that's impossible. That's proven to the Calambra. How does it prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you see it has been blown out by a powerful impact. One would assume the projectile from the firearm would pass to the victim instead of the candle. The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly different lengths. Yes, but you can see that only a candle appears to have struck the bullet so long. We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together to have lit all three of them. Which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others. That Must be because the particular candle was extinguished, but the others were still burning. Ah! That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. Yeah, no shit. But the other two candles would still be burning. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by this light still thrown the candelabra. And the accuser claimed that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts the facts. Holy shit. And now to the next lie. God damn! He's basically mixing prosecutor and defense tactics together, making this like basically making this baby of like a tactic. Holy shit. There's more? The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. Oh, sweet God. The board covered the top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right, we saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which is from 10 years ago. 10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar. And there's a common thread linking all the documents in that board. Indeed. What is the common thread, Counselor? It's just his fevery mix, goddammit! That relates to cases prosecuted in court by Barack von Zieks. All of them? And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Good Lord! Interestingly, none of these defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. Ah! Oh no! In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations. The Reaper's hideout? And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout. And no one would believe that? No? The truth is, we've been looking at this backwards! Backwards! Explain, Counsel! Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. And I'm sure everyone can imagine. By the Reaper's hand. What? What?! Holy shit, Very well. I hereby say the current opinion of the court. Brock Von Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it's deep regret I must concur with Prosecutor Sogi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies in known facts. All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Kazuma's done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable. Yeah, that's what I said. It's beautiful. It's just... It's beautiful. Holy shit! You will submit the board that you showed as the court's evidence. I believe to be fundamental establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence. Thank you, my lord. Notice boards. We're gonna check this out. And now the prosecution would like to call his new witnesses to the stand following board. We're gonna check this out. Oh, that's something. There we go. Keep that in mind. Oh, what's this? Mr. Tadahara, look! Oh yes, this is much some kind. In fact, it looks like a handprint. It's color. It's blood, isn't it? Oh dear, it's disturbing. So keep that in mind, so we're gonna update this for later. And then all these are cases. These are details of the case. In Agent Browning, is newspaper cutting here. Oh, Red-Headed League, you remember the Red-Headed Piece? And there's it. So, that's it. That's the only interesting thing about it. So, yeah, do that. There we go. Witnesses who saw events unfold today in question. They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room. Oh boy. Very well, the lady witness is in. The defendant may step down the witness stand. Certainly, my lord. Oh, hey, it's Beepo. So, witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Names? We don't use names! Far too fancy the likes of us! We're just free and easy. So what we like. Live there where we want to live. Give them all vacant stare while we walk down the Firenze with a spin of a few words into the Saturday. Would I be right to see all three of you make a living as selling wares in the street? Hey, everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passerbys as you know it. Jaunty little tidbits. Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up in the ginnels. 6 pence a price and not a little penny less. Wait! You're actually trying to sell it to me now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Try the man. Give the money to see what it is. Pay the man. Counsel. All right. 6 pence it is. I'll pay my money, jeez. You won't forget it, sir. Now I got your listening ears on. Just between us, a young couple on Slight Street had just had twins. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. That's not it. It's gossip, isn't it? It won't spread. That's a bit above your mouth. Not, of course. I got more, you know. Just another juicy one. 6 pence a piece it is, if you're curious. I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that bottom lip of yours. Namely, the unusual bruise, whatever it is poking out of your collar. About the next witnesses, then. What do they go by you sell? Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, isn't it? I sell these little fireworks to all local school kids. Why? 6 pence a pop. What do you say? You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell? Oh yeah. The second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they could blow up the school. Not the most savory of ideas, young lady. What do you say then, eh? Wanna part with 6 pence a pop? Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you in a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you can blow up the whole courtroom. Try the woman. Give it a money, see what she's right. Pay the woman counsel. I love how everyone is like, pay the woman. I love it. All right, I'll buy one. Lovely stuff. Right then, this is something a bit extra just for you. Holy shit! This is a Venus special, only 600 pence. 600! It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there? Little about the if I blew up the old Bailey eater. Firecracker. And the last witness, what name do you go by and what do you sell? I'm thinker me, think all sorts of thoughts, think before I am, before I think. Because I stand there on the street watching the world go out about me, they call me the observator. Get out of it, old man, everyone calls you Sandwich and you know it. So, you don't actually sell anything. Problem, shepherd, problem, how did they say I give advice? I do, and they think what it means. Hot! As hero. I don't actually sell anything, now I come to think of it. Petty. No more purchases today, please! Well, we have quite a cast here, it seems. Yeah, we do. Holy shit. They conduct their business as a friends street from morning until night, my lord. It's the same place, usually adjacent to the crime scene. Trust me, I've seen street sellers before I've seen them. They're crazy, you know, right? Plus, they heard a gunshot, I suppose sometimes they scam you. Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what's going on with the crime. Oh, very good, I thought. Just between us. Venus de Milo, what do I do? What a terrible thing I saw. What I think is what I see is a light shadow playing with our eyes. Is any of it real? Oh, sweet mutter. Very well. Well, the court will not hear formal testimony of 3 witnesses. Your described details heard. Oh, fuck. Here we go. Witness. We saw the whole thing from start to finish. We did everything from the moment they went to the building. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside, and we all heard a big bang. Seems to me the quick to talk, the quick to walk. Gossip couldn't wait to go and see what happened. I ran to the room. There he was, the Reaper, gun in his hand, standing over the dead body. Hold on. Let me check the firecrackers. Have you had any idea, Mr. Nadahoda? Sorry, it's just that this Venus special, I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. Shall we find out? What? She's like, I blew up the whole court. Alright, that was a fairly sizable bang. My ears are still ringing, Mr. Nadahoda. It sounded like almost exactly like a... A gunshot. There we go. Yeah, do that. Do that. Because that's going to be important. So, there we go. Let's do it. I was scared half to death, me, so I ran to find a copper. So yeah, do that because you're going to need to. Especially considering that sounds like a gunshot. This is where the whole day and saw everything. Who did they see going inside the building? Oh, the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Brock Von Zieks. I've seen pictures of the Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folks love stories like this and make themselves a tidy sum already. But wait, the room is just one of the several flats in the building. Someone in another flat could have done it. All those flats in Fresno Street are not occupied. Of course they are. They're small, damn, dirty, and expensive to boot. Expensive? What are they doing in such a... Okay. The room in which the Inspector was found is the only property the building is currently leased. And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Bone. The testimony in the court sure would appear to leave room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to find anyone other than the defendant who committed a crime. No! Oh. Thank you for your candor, my lord. Oh, fuck off with this. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed cross-examine the witness. Yes, my lord. It's close about a jury. The judge is the only person whose opinions matter. I have to break down his testimony somehow.
Hold it!
Let's press. When you say they, what do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Van Zieks? I suppose so. The likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I tell you one thing, it was old Reaper that went in the last and sure and certain. Just behind Inspector Gregson and the around at the same time as each other? No, not at all. The first fella must have gone inside and got 15 minutes before he heard the gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that? I am sure. Am I sure? Does it seem likely to have forgotten a fellow with bright red hair like that, does it? Yeah, his hair really were red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even. That fiery red mops burnt the top of my eyelids, it is. Wait a minute. You're saying the man was redhead? Weren't you listening, chump? Eh? It was redhead. And he had a big trunk with him as well. A trunk! Ooh! Ooh! A trunk? You have any idea what that means? You have any idea what that means? You know who else had a big ass trunk? You know who else? Guess! But Inspector Gregson's hair is red is not stretching the imagination. It seems like the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other party. That's what I'm saying. No, I have to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? What? Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken in the scene. Yes, that's the Inspector Gregson, all right. Oh, Gregson. Gregson, my boy. No. And a red hairpiece. Ah, of course, we saw the floor investigate the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece now. So then why would everybody have been wearing something like that? Kinda does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel. Oh, thank you. And when we came to the trunks red-headed victim was supposedly carrying, I was informed there was no trunk was found in the scene. A trunk? Who else had a trunk? What, do you expect us to be watching the whole building every second, do you? We definitely saw him in the dock going through. Going in, no question about it. The dock. I ran into the room and he was. The Reaper gun hand stand over a dead body.
Hold it!
So they were the first person to arrive at the scene, is that right? That I was, kicked the door down like a professional, I did, and I yelled out, "What's going on in here?" Lord Van Zieks claims that he heard was a man's scream, though. It was dark inside the room? No, not the dark at all. There were candles burning in the wall. Really? And there was a velvet collapse on the floor. Just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside. Ah, I see. Even though Lord Van Zieks claims to not have seen any such lights on the wall. Next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body. The accused, Brock Van Zieks. That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it. I'm no lily-liver coward. I stood my ground to give the Reaper a cold, hard stare myself.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Do you have something that, Mr. Sandwich? There's really nothing to me empty in the head. I am just two slices with no middle. So don't know what you can want with me. Two slices in no middle. I mean, maybe you remembered something? Have you heard Mr. Gossip's latest statement, I mean? Well, what I think is we're nothings really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers. That's enough of that of sandwich. Keep your trap shut now. Unless you want us to make you the real sandwich. What? Where? He saw the Reaper. He fell over clean his backside. That's it? Oh, you rotten beggar. I told you to keep the secret. He screamed, he did. Screamed and scrambled off all fours. That was all I wanted to say. You pussy. Mr. Gossip, is this true? You're a pussy? The floor was dead slippery, that's why. Planted my hand in a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? What? A pool of blood? But inside here, he was sprawled on the floor. Kind of giving the Reaper a cold hard stare. Dang, forget it. Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hands? I did, eh? It happens to the best of us at times, doesn't it? I was scared, so I slipped over. We could keep this between us, can't we? No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to ask you to add that to formal testimony. Oh, if I must. The witness will amend the testimony include the information details. Here we go. So we already updated the notice board. I slipped the hand and quickly wiped it off the floor. So I already found it. You guys remember? In the back. So yeah, the bloody handprint was his.
Objection!
Objection, boy! I gotcha. So you wiped off the blood from the hand on the floor in the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection!
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is the defense asserting? If you listen, you'll find out, prosecutor said. Certainly, there are no bloody handprints found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There is a handprint and the blood left clean on the scene. On the back of his notice board. Ah! Yes, indeed. It proves the handprint distinctive color of blood. Hey, you're dead right. That's my right hand. I know it anywhere. Hot actual hero. Why does it say that again? The witness is very definitive testament. He's wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
Well, what if it fell on the floor? Not if the board itself had fallen on the floor. In that case, it's quite possible the witness handprints have ended up on there. Just look at the floor plan in the room. The board is right there, right? The notice board was on the opposite corner of the room, and the victim was in an upright position. And if this somehow had been toppled over and was lying on the floor at the time, it would have been like this. It would have been a considerable distance from the body. I fell over when I came across the body, and I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. So odd. In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. There's a very definitive contradiction here, for which there must be a reason. I think I need to formulate a proper hypothesis, counsel. Regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene. I have, my lord. The discrepancy between the witness accounts and the location is the board moving. The board moved. The real contradiction is the handprint itself, not where it was found. The court can see it's upside down. Good gracious, so it is. It was on the board. The fingers are pointing upwards. What? What does it tell us? It was on the right side of the room, not the left side of the room. It tells us one simple fact: this handprint was made. The board must have been laying on the floor as the previously suggested, which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What?
Objection!
You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear to the point. And what would that be? The position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. So, counsel, I'm asking you to clarify your assertion to court. At the time of the incident, when you maintained the notice board was situated on the right side of the room. On the right side of the doorway. Like, basically right here.
Take that!
This is the only possible location. Immediately adjacent to the doorway? If the court would have think of that testimony given to the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and he couldn't see the body. Bayek! As noticed that the board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view, and the light of the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear dark.
Objection.
That is true. But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in precise words, just as I picked the firearm up and examined it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of the Inspector Gregson appeared before me. I don't know about calling it a scream, but it was talking about me or no mistake. Because it was me who kicked the door out open. You look again at the floor plan. Considering what had happened and the door ring was thrown open with force, bonk, it would have fell. That can't! The door stuck a notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible. Good gracious! My client has told nothing but the truth. He simply described what he saw. Ah! Odd! Counsel! How has this not come to light before now? After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it to the other side of the room, in a position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw and investigating the room. What would you have to say for yourself? What? Me, my lord! You and your fellows are nowhere to see before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board. The witnesses stand will testify again and explain exactly what did right on his scene, the crime. Hey, stop looking with your glasses at me! I got the message! Okay, here we go. Mystery of the moving board. I don't know anything about the notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me, just deciding the crossroads of life. It was the reprint Betty got the face that screams bored. I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when he heard the gunshot. So none of you can elaborate further. Shake about a crime they witnessed will only light a few candles and only lamp which see. We can expect these witnesses able to give more precise account of what happened. That's right, yeah. I don't pay to expect too much. In man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world, that's what I think. Do you? Really? In any case, as the testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person in the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Brock Van Zieks. None of his wrangling over the board changes the simple fact. Quite so. Does the defense still wish cross-examination with my circumstances? Well, certainly, my lord. I do. Very well. You may proceed, counsel. Here we go. Let's press that. What exactly? When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling the fireworks? Yeah, what else? There's a priory school just around the corner, see? These cheeky little so-and-sos always got a plan to blow their schools to kingdom come. So I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to. Oh, you have? Yeah, I don't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. And oh my god. So you tell the teachers, then you sell the fireworks. You damn bastard. You clever bastard. Holy shit. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks of them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back for me to buy more. Everyone's happy. Happy, see? What a racket. Bro, of course. And sometimes the teachers give him a little bonus to thank me for letting him know. And a busy old life selling explosives. Venus is the gleeful goddess indeed. Well, telling barefaced lies is kind of thing, really. Never so good at it.
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich? Sandwich. If I said was, could you just leave it at that? What the end of it? No! Did Miss Venus' statement just bring something into mind, perhaps? Physiological thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts. Philosophical. Let's say that there was a great liar, and that great liar said without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing if I'm so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too, or the truth, in which case she's not a liar? Okay, that's actually a really good question, holy shit. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying. Are you? What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause the trouble, are you? Keep on like that. Oh, sweet God. And I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give something to tremble about. You have startling, disturbing mind behind that sweet, innocent face, young lady. So Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich? Well, if it means we'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Oh, can you elaborate, please, sir? Oh. Blabber out here headed to the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. The rotten liar over there. Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself in the scene of the crime after all? What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I? Yes, you mentioned it. Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it? Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch? Oh, they can. So you did indeed visit the crime scene, did you, young lady? Good grief! Well, now you come to mention it. I suppose, perhaps. I do clearly remember climbing the stairs in the room, yeah. Either you clearly remember or you don't. Which one? Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjury act later. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth. Oh yes, of course, my lord. Maybe I just sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek at the room where it all happened. Tell me what you find. You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus? Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. What? If you want my advice, though, I take everything I say with a big pinch of salt. I don't trust you! I made it back to the room where the victim was killed the day in question, didn't you? Oh, please, as if I would. I can think of anything more terrifying. The truth, please. Well, alright, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know? Did you touch anything at the scene, by any chance? Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there's a dead body in the floor. The truth, please! Well, alright, just a bit then. I had a look and see if there was anything I could sell. I got the place on once over, and there was nothing to write home about. Right, now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you? Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose changes on it. The truth, please! God damn it. Alright then, I thought there might be something worth having underneath. So I blasted the flippin' thing. Sorry, flip the blasted thing. You're telling us you did move the board! I think that just slipped out, didn't it? Oh my god, what? You daft damn I don't believe it. That girl doesn't think. So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps, to sell? Oh, please. I should be so lucky. Imagine the truth now! I might have found this old pocket watch under their nose board, I suppose. But a bit of a junk like that can be worth much as So it was you, was it? You're the one who took it! Gina? Young lady, may I remind you where you are? That watch there, that was the present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he saw 10 years ago. The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wind up every evening without fail, even was waiting for his grub to come to the pub. I see. I swiped it off of him once, and blimey, he was upset. He gave me a right of the year for. I said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing up and winding it. It meant the world to him. That watch did. Possibly not the best thing to go diving for then. It's not all that, though. I took the jabsies last night, which was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Said it wasn't working. Knocked it at worthless, he called it. Ah! I knew I should have lifted it. That watch must be substitute evidence at once. Oh, please. Just as long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance! Swipe it through if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again. That's enough, I had the watch, and the bailiff forthwith. No, children. Watch your manners. Good lord! The glass appears to be broken. More than likely, it was shattered. Inspector was shot. It doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabsy didn't want it. What a waste. Yes, indeed. The police have stopped hour 5, exactly when the gunshot was heard. Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course. Alright. Okay. So we have this here. This hole. Notice this hole. Ah, that's the winder keyhole. Can you see? Oh, yeah, it's probably the winder usually, don't you think? Yes, you can wind it. Let's check carefully. Then we have the... It stopped at 5 o'clock. And in this here... Looks like this will be for like the changing the hour, but... Part of it is gone. So... Twist the head. Oh. And then, let's examine it. And now we know what it's for. This is what it's for. Here we go. Let's try it. Yeah! I knew it! A perfect fit! And look! The inspector's watch started going again. Ah, it's obviously just wound up, that's all. What is it, Mrs. Something? Well, is the watch is actually broken after all. Feeling has profound implications. Stephen thought perhaps it was something. It's only the glass, but it actually still works. Perfect. There we go. So now that we got it. We solved at least. As predicted, very little bear in this case. Alright. Now then, get your cross-examination, please cancel. So, now that we have that done out, let's go to number 5. That's 4, 5. I can't see how this changes anything. It's like they still die when we hear the gunshot. But wait. Objection! I'm afraid it's not necessarily the case. At the scene, we found this key to the wandering inspector's pocket watch. A key. And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered the fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And the fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which the entire case has been built. What? We're cracking them. Order, but counsel! The watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock. Yeah, which is when we heard the gunshot. It is exactly the hour. But what if it didn't happen? The time was showing. The watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It really is a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock. Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. What if it was not a gunshot at all? And obviously it was no crime was committed. What if it wasn't a gunshot? No, it was an old. Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. I almost said Greg said. God damn it. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail, even his waiting in the grub, come on the pub. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years. Polishing it and winding it. I meant the one that watched it. Oh. The victim was the habit of winding his watch once a day, in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece in the evening before he died as well. Yes, that would be entirely reasonable. But if that was the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock in the following day. Oh, eh? Well, explain it then. In summary, even before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. Because he was already dead! You can't mean! He was already dead! Why would it stop the man who's winding his watch? He's been in the habit of winding it every single day for the evening in 10 years. The obvious answer is that he was already dead! Oh! Odd! Counsel extraordinary claim! He was already dead? Extraordinary isn't the word, it's absurd! You claimed he was already dead the night before? Oh yeah, I mean, do you really think the Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that? Huh? Well, on the subject, there's something rather surprising. There's actually an omniscient coroner's report. The time of death is not noted. Huh? That's right! Wait a minute, you're forgetting my legs went from under me and I kicked the door in. What do you mean? Like I said, I planted my hand in a dirty great puddle of blood. Yes, until the victim's blood hadn't dried, it was fresh. He catches on fast, does he?
Objection.
But here's the thing, but that blood wouldn't explain the number anyways. It could have been put there afterwards. So fresh blood. What if I... Nah. Does my learned friend think the fresh blood is available in every state corner? Ah! I mean... Never know. Well, not necessarily been human blood, of course. True. Could have been fish blood. Could anything. So previous Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human. Problem is currently being researched as far as you correct is beyond our abilities. So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example. It's certainly a possibility it was an inspector's blood at all.
Objection.
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's beyond question. Is it? No. What? Given that at the time of death, the victim has already been called into question, isn't it beyond the realm's possibility that these witness heard wasn't a gunshot at all? Oh please, what are you trying to say? It was what we heard. It was loud bang come from the room. Now, when you listen to me, a street seller's ears are his livelihood. Oh, you stopped the whip. I don't doubt your ears, sir. You can state, sir, you heard a noise. Eh? Explain yourself then, counsel. The noise that sounds a gunshot could have been made with this. Something like this. The culprit could have set off with one of those fake gunshots. Good gracious, the very fireworks are sold by the witness. Now, hold on a minute. Are you saying I did it? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. The pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway. See? Now, 100 of them together. The Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. As the court can now assess, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. You're trying to suggest that somebody set off with those fireworks off the scene. Yes, I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day, and sought implicit into creating a sound like a gunshot for those Pelders and Fresno Street to hear. In Fresno Street, Fresno. But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Maybe he was hidden in the dark, but it was a gun and a firecracker. The only person present caused the bang was Brock von Zeeks. One whiff of match, the firecracker go pop. See? The black people like them. I fear for your fingers, young lady. Oh, Judge. Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learned of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a time bomb? Good heavens, a bomb? Yes. A device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like. Mr. Nadahono, I worry your fortunate phrasing there may lead to another international incident. No, wait, it's whatever you like part that's important. Whatever. A timed device. Yes, exactly. A timed device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left. Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel. What proof do you have suggesting in any way that the timed device was employed to create a gunshot? Well, the candelabrum. If we're gonna be honest here, I mean, here's the thing with the candelabrum. Remember, it was lit up. Okay, remember, they go off with fire, right? Obviously. So you know, he must have, the culprit must have put it somewhere. What he must have done was, in a nutshell, he must have hung it up near the fire. So he must have done something like hang it and then near the fuse and do that. So the candelabrum is the only explanation. As the court's already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in the candelabrum was blown off. Yes, indeed, because it was stuck in a bullet, which presumably passed the victim. I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible. Why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the brim. There are. Goodness, yes! Just in case, there is also scorching of the victim around the bullet entry wound. That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at very close range. A matter of centimeters from the gun. Ah! Which means that the scorching of the candle can't possibly result in a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks. How can that be, eh? The fact that there's such a visible scorching on the candle suggests the fireworks must have been right next to it when it exploded. Or put it another way, the candle and the firecrackers are joined together. That's what I said. Like that. The culprit somehow attached the firecrackers to the point of the candle. And the killer had left the scene. The candle slowly burnt down along with the other two. Until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firecrackers, generated a loud... And that is how the three witnesses came to believe that they heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock. Well, what a plot. And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we'd been led to believe, the previous day even. Yes. Now, that just holy horses! What is also the victim going in the building, remember? I couldn't forget the flame-colored hair even if I wanted to. It wasn't that. The red-headed leak. The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. But consider this. Ah! Obviously, anybody can wear a wig, and the person they use witness entering the building, the wigs are pretty comfortable. 15 minutes before the incident occurred, could easily have someone else entering with that red hairpiece. Someone else? Do you mean to say? I don't know who, but someone. It was the same person who contributed the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Grigson's killer. Ha! Oh, very impressive, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kazuma! I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defensive lawyer? I also noted the lack of time deaf in his report, a stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Order, Prosecutor Asogi! What on earth do you mean by that statement? I heard that many of the leading members of the Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today, so we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. That's true. The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just a conjecture. But, while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it. Well, certainly, I would say. And immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential when within Scotland Yard, even within the yard. However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent that the case the man was pursuing, wouldn't you say, my learned friend? I do have a feeling it's about the case we might be investigating. Yes, I agree. Surely. The Red-Headed League. My lord, the defense believes they can explain to the court the case investigating Inspector Gregson at the time of his death. Very well, counsel. We praise your argument to the court. What was it? You can use the wig or the article, but we're gonna go with the wig.
Take that!
I believe the red hairpiece points to the answer. I might assume it was part of disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation. Surely not such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make Inspector more noticeable. Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely make him stand out from the crowd. Except that is... and a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League? So, you already worked it out. What on earth is this about? This such extraordinary league of gentlemen? The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception. A deception of what nature, Council? They've been targeting red-headed men across all the London, tricking them into small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord, the defense calls for the 2 men to be summoned at once. 2 redheads! Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using his hairpiece, so it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events. I concur. The window would conscious to leave his news. Explore. Well done, Mr. Nuttahuddle. Well, it's another possible line of query reveals, at least. The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for a charge and appear. Bring these 2 Red-Headed League conspirators before me, Prosecutor Sogi. At once, my lord. Very good. We'll have a 30-minute recess. The court is adjourned. Whew. Okay, so this is actually getting much, much longer. So anyway, I'm gonna end it right here. I know this is weird because normally we would just do it all in one go, right? You know, like the first, part 1, 2 trial in one go, right? But in this case, it's just too long. It's very, very long. Normally I do it if it's super short, but in this case it's so long, so I'm gonna end it right here, and next time we're gonna go and do the second part of the trial. So yeah. See you guys then. Bye.